back into this heart at once. Remember what we have accomplished. We brought everything up into the thymus, including those chakras that man created with very little equipment. And wonder at how you achieved these initiations when in fact you were working with two helices, two strands of the DNA, mostly. I view it as three. Meaning we, meaning our. So we'll go along with the scientific addition of two. And in all our history, many of you have stepped beyond that because you are profound light beings. The magnification of who and what you are may be a cluster of stars, and some greater. Some of these things we can see quite clearly within this group, and the magnificence of all of you is beyond your comprehension, and we do not have language, because your language is tuned to the third dimension and not multi-dimensional terms. Not yet. You have a few. So what we're going to do is achieve for the earth, for this galaxy, the feminine principle of existence for all. So sit in that chair as one, please. As one entity. Draw in the feminine principle of existence and let go of any resistance to the dynamic. And that's very difficult for some of you ladies. Breathe in, gentle ones, please. And see her and men as equally dynamic to the male. But still very, very receptive. And the logical male, look to that hemisphere of the brain, bring that in. For they're both equally logical and they're both equally as dynamic in the ultimate sense, for they are one. There can be no divisiveness, for it's the time to heal. It is the time to become the inner I am, which is neither male nor female. So as we sit in this golden chair, this gold is such a wonderful radiator. We're going to amplify this body, and I like this exercise because it sometimes works. We invite Metatron. Never negate Sandalphon, as Brian sometimes tends to do. And you've heard this, the right side of the back of the chair. Please bring in the Metatron with a very powerful electrical line, a charge, please. On the left foot, what you view as your receptive side or negative side, let go through Sandalphon into this earth, or what was the earth, the etheric grid. The earth is in our heart, is it not? We have moved her there. With wonderment. She continues to glow as you see her, as you hold her. I want you to bring a charge to Metatron, please. A higher charge. The dial in front of your third eye goes to 5. It's 1 to 5, 3 in the middle. I will ask for some help now, because all of you can take a certain amount of energy and others can take less. we allow the God and Goddess, the Mahatma, the completed Mahatma, the balanced Mahatma, to come through the Metatron now and allow an appropriate amount of energy. You will see this again as aqua blue, as spiritual energy, that which we call the microtron. Aqua blue, gentle ones, and the whole will infuse within the right side, your dynamic side, throughout the body now. And so there's no overcharge. The grounding cable is Sandalphon. Know this to be a very competent thing. Begin to see the electricity come in. It's on a current that's not, let's call it electromagnetic current. Yeah, that's better. Very good. Turn the dial up to 3, please, and give yourself a good charge. Allow a good charge to come in. You feel the vibration. You have a sense of transformation. As the aqua blue becomes brilliant, brighter and brighter, you know this has something to do with electrodynamics, and very much with magnetism between the two, Metatron and Sandalphon. Look to the magnetics in that, gentle ones, and a regeneration for a new body, regeneration for a new body that is spiritualized. You're being protected. You cannot turn this dial too high. Turn it to 4, please. Good. All parts of the body, please. Look to the endocrine system particularly, for it carries the flow. This is an area that your finite doctors have not truly understood. It's much greater than, quote, the nervous system. This is the tide, the flow, the ebb and tide of creation itself. The breath of God comes into the body in this nature through the very important endocrine. And look to your endocrine, please, and bring a charge as you would. You know how to do this because you understand basic electronics. Bring a charge to the pituitary. To the pineal. Very good. A greater charge there, please. To the thyroid and the parathyroid, please. For the work you did today was difficult, but freed so very much for everyone. And freedom is not what you're used to. Parathyroid, thyroid, please allow that charge to amplify throughout your endocrine system. Breathe, gentle ones. Allow it to spread. Get a sense of flow. Pituitary, pineal, thyroid, parathyroid is one. To the magnificence of all the parathyroid, we look to the thymus, please, and a massive charge. A massive charge into the thyroid, please. To help you free. To help you free yourself of victimhood. The most wondrous of all, the thymus, please. magnification now and the flow of this current not only softens and enlarges this thymus, this center of centers, this kind of cosmic connection. Turn it up to 5, please. Here, the electrical current, you can see it. Call on Kamiel to allow this, for he or it can be very, very helpful. Kamiel, please come in. Kamiel, good. No one can be overcooked. Wonderful. The radiation around throughout this room of the same wonderful microtron radiated out through this thymus, for it is softened and is expanded greatly. Do not put pressure on your physical heart. Look at the endocrine under the arm and the mastoids, please. Mastoids behind the ears. It's the carrier of much radiation as we go into light, prepare for ascension, prepare for the spiritualization of matter. Great deal of radiation held there in the mastoids to the milk. Down to the solar plexus and to the left. The spleen. Is a distributing point, and allow it to distribute anything excessive. Too much radiation anywhere, often in the knees, in the lymph nodes, particularly under the arms, and particularly through growth. Always remember the natural distributor for energy is the spleen, and from there you distribute it throughout the body. Look to the pancreas, please. But many of you have problems with the pancreas. So many cancers seem to develop here. Please. A wonderful flow of this electrical blue. Let go of the spleen. This is not understood. Let it go. Distribute all the cumulative effects, particularly the radiation, that we do require to be distributed to other parts of your body, your hips, your thighs. Good. Very good. Very creative. Those who have appendix, look to that one, please. It is an energy center. Remove ignorance, anger. All these areas need need ignition, look to the genitalia, those three lower chakras which we are raising into the thymus. And charge and purify those areas that have not been understood, particularly in Atlantean times, of the emotions which have run rampant third dimensionally. Allow the clarification of this wonderful aqua blue to clear and charge this area. Look them into the chest of drawers, 1, 2, and 3. Good. Circle them as you would a neon light, each one of these drawers. Bring a great charge. You're being well looked after. Good. Very good. More on the emotional, please. This neon light works for you. Do it again. And you're by yourself. And the base determines the effect of sexuality affecting the emotions and the distress that so many have felt in this area. Feel that now. Raise the vibration. Sense of abandonment, fill it with love and light. Reality from a source perspective, not the mundane, which is so readily forgotten when you get to leave the planet. These are not the levels you remember. The upper end of the solar plexus, again, that muscle, solar plexus, the area of protection, relax it, please. The top of the third drawer, please. Good. That tubing, that neon tubing, works very well for you. Scan that drawer, please. And the upper part of it is very, very stiff. Allow it to simply fade. You need no force. And once the cells begin to come into light throughout this area, the cells, because you're rearranging the matrix, or these will be numbered differently, all of them, in the next 35 years, and for you, right now, or soon. These take on different numbers, different performances. For the first 3, 1, 2, and 3 will be raised. So clear the way for the reef clarification of a multi-dimensional matrix, a 12 chakra system for your physical body. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. If you had a baby coming home, you would make that kind of preparation. You mothers and fathers may help. Cleansed, loved, purified. All 3 of these drawers, please. Good, wholesome. Allowing, knowing that transformation, these become something other than what they have worked as. For the endocrine will align and realign these 3 lower chakras. Just down to the base of the feet and the kneecaps, particularly the right knee for the girl, please. left for the men. It's another storage area. And open up the base of the feet and let them breathe through to the sandal form, Now see that free flow of the endocrine, that interchange with all levels of self, so there's a sense of absolute connection with the breath of God. And on the in-breath, gentle ones, bring back the sandal form, bring back into your thymus room your own great creative ability. Good. Breathe out, please. Any excesses now. Breathe out, please. These areas are very bright with you now. That is appropriate. Good. You can open the crown if you will. And let us adventure outside. We're going to take our five-body system. We're going to take the physical cellular body, the atomic body, with the etheric body, with the emotional body, with the mental body, dear ones, and the true spiritual body we'll talk about tomorrow. But we'll take the spiritual body with us, for it is us, for it is becoming us. So it makes that magnificent connection that we did earlier on that broad disc from the base of our feet up now to the source star. And that works very well, that crystal, that elongated spirit, that elongated candle into the source star, please. And if you cannot see light, you create it. You can visualize a headlight, you can visualize your source star. You are the creators of your reality, that's what they become there. Some of you a little higher for your source star, not all of you, don't all move. Get a sense of comfort as it relates. Some of you are looking at the universal level, that's go a little bit higher. That's closer. You don't just magnify a point of concentration that you yourself can relate to. And know that this is your place of birthing. This is the wondrous I am. This is the connection that we have waited forever to realign with on our homeward journey. And we realize there can be no intermediaries. We have wonderful beings and wonderful teachers and wonderful archangels and great assistants now, which this planet has not known for a very, very long time. Draw the wondrous line that you did from your crown into your thymus up to the source. Begin to magnify that source star. And as you did with your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body, begin to rebuild, finally and eternally, this connection with your source. deep breath in and connect with your source, please, because it's the in-breath that's the return breath. The one that says, yes, yes, this is who I am. A profound sense of peace. Tell the body to relax, please. Brainstem, tell it to relax. Medulla oblongata, please tell it to relax. So there's so much confusion there, is there not? Breathe gently. Relax. Breathe in, and when you breathe out, tell this whole area to relax. Relax. Still the mind, gentlemen. Still the mind. We have a conscious recognition that we have a connection with our place of birth, with our individuality. We're going back to our place of birth. Crown is magnificent, for it's open. And you see a great V of light as we start our journey. And we invite all aspects of self as we have, but we remind them again that we are they and they are us. That there is no separation. No matter how beleaguered we appear to be, we are reuniting, and we're doing this consciously. We travel as the group. We travel within this pyramidal light grid, and it's very, very powerful. We're going to pass in review. We will meet many, many things. View it as an escalator would be a better term, an escalator. You meet many on both sides who greet you. Just know that they are there. Some of them family from ancient times. Aspects of self. And densities become finer and finer as we go to the galactic core. And this one you all know. You've all worked with Melchior. You have all worked with he or it. Step off the escalator at this floor, please, and look around, and you know this is something that you have experienced in what you view as the past. The past might have been last night. But so much brighter, still physical, such a sense of freedom, of being freed from corporal imprisonment, from the corporal body. And I want you as a group to go up to this wonderful being. He knows you and you do know he. And ask yourselves, if you can remember anything of any dialogue at this level of consciousness. Do you ever remember placing a cluster or galaxy in place? A solar system. We've got Metatron with us. He always is a premium advisor. Ask him. And there are aspects of yourself that have connected with you here. This is why the galactic core is so prominent with all of you. This is your fifth dimension. And the step between the third and the fifth seems huge, and it is. But it's only a perception. And we're prepared to rid ourselves of false perceptions. We're prepared to open these doors, these doorways, these portals, and recognize that we must have aspects of self on these levels. So we have responded to primal soul because that was anchored in the silence. We have responded to all aspects. If we're going to journey to the source and take the source back down with us, this is what we would prefer to do. So we causally meet aspects of self, and particularly this wondrous thing whom all of you know, Melchior. Let it resonate with you. And what you begin to understand is divine equality, that no one is greater than another. They coexist, they express as one, and that does not take away your individuality. When you have that fear, you just become a greater wholeness of who you are, not less. Let us move on, please. Now, we've discussed 7 grand divisions. In every dimension. Let us now look to about the 6th grand division in the 6th dimension. And we experience Melchizedek this great being every one of you has touched into one time or another. For most of you are of his family. Very few are from other universes. Breathe him in, for he is magnificent. His love is very, very profound, most inviting. You're amazed how jovial, how cheerful this great one is. And as a group, look into his eyes, for there you see yourself. They are simply a mere reflection of all of creation. The imprint is there, the DNA we talk about. is there. The coding is there. We're going to move right along. He shows you a bridge, and we invite ourselves as a group, for we leave no one behind. And for the purposes of this exercise, this is a golden bridge, or in truth, that would be a correct analogy. And as a group, we bear him farewell, we take him with us. We can take them all with us if that is your choice. He would like to go, and Melchior. And we're startled, for at the other side of this bridge there is a sense of stillness and quiet and colors and sound and omnipresence that is so unbelievable that a language cannot describe this area. Third dimension terms do not suffice. And everything is permeated with a love that we have never understood. And we get a first impression of what unconditional, divine love or consciousness is. Allow to breathe it in as a group. It permeates every part of our being in this pyramidal light ray. And we realize we've taken a pyramidal light bridge into spirituality, which we cannot normally do for this physical. Let us have the Mahatma Energy now and the Metatron assist us through the seventh dimension. Colors you've never seen, you wouldn't believe these combinations would exist. And hue, the sound that we speak of, hue sound, God's sound, comforting throughout all with sounds that are so balanced, so harmonic, that you wouldn't believe, find it difficult to believe that this is possible, this type of perfection. There is nothing dissonant. There is nothing eternal. Breathe it in, gentlemen, as a group. So light, sound, color, joy, such as we cannot describe, is yours. And you realize the aspects of this level of consciousness that are aligning with you are you. Breathe in, everyone. Breathe. We go into the eighth dimension, which is really the laboratory for creation, and realize that future cosmic day constellations are all done in miniature in this area, very vast, very, very vast. Everything's done so simply, there's not a sense of urgency. of a profound sense of eternity. That creation has no beginning and has no end. And the first time you felt this, you have this profound feeling that permeates the group of expansion, that new cosmic days are occurring every short period of what we would call time. And it is ongoing. All is in transformation all of the time. And that is the only constant. Therefore God is in transformation in consciousness all of the time. For his consciousness becomes greater and greater as does ours, as one with the God we are. Because the Mahatma, the balanced God and Goddess, take us into the ninth dimension, please. And let us go to the seventh grand division of this, the ninth dimension. Even divisions seem silly at this level of consciousness. I come to a room that is so marvelous we cannot describe the gold, the light, the colors. Again, there's a noble-shaped table in the middle of the room. Around us are 11 great beings. We recognize them because they are us. And in the middle is a cross which seems more magnificent than all of the others. In the middle of this oval table is the cross, and he's very golden. And Metatron explains to us that the 12 constitute the undifferentiated source, the source of sources. And each one of these members of this Council of 12 and associate members embrace and encompass one cosmic ray. This is wonderful. We have a sense of beginning at this level of consciousness, of birthing. Please go up to the first member. Every one of you, I want you to look very closely at these members as you go around and get a sense of who you are in relationship to a specific ray or a number of rays. The first we know is the pioneer ray, red, very difficult in the physical body. But many of us are partly using that ray or using it totally as is bias for transformation. Pioneering and transformation. It is always the first aspect of the God source when it wishes to explore, when it wishes to go out, is your first ray. And if it wishes changes, it's always from this great being, the first ray. And again, these folks could have been thousands and thousands of feet. Space, distance, time has no relevancy here. Look into the great eyes of this one, and you see yourself. You know that at one time or another you have worshipped this ray, or in conjunction with other energies you have worshipped this ray. Love cannot be described at this level of consciousness. We do not have the language. The joy of receiving you is very profound. The second ray, many of you are familiar with, call it an indigo blue of the wisdom. And love, divine love you do not know yet, unconditional love you do not know in this body. You are getting to know it, you will become it. But not in the way these things know it. Who are you? Look again and feel the nature of the seven being. And have it encompass you totally. The love and the wisdom, breathe it in, please. All of you have worked with this ray, so it's very popular. It just hasn't worked on this time. Love and wisdom. The third gets things done, doesn't it not? And again, all of you have had expressions that work for the third ray. These beings are absolutely magnificent. They cannot be described in finite terms. This is often worked in conjunction with other rays. The German mentality is very much expressed in this. It gets things done, and often they go overboard. Fourth is difficult for some of you are working with this energy, and you tend to be overzealous of earth living, often artistic. Great for healing. Great for healing. Many of you who touch into healing work partly with this way. This is mental. Again, look at this being, please. View yourself as having been very often very mental. Often to the detriment of what it is you're trying to achieve. Six gentle ones can nourish you, can replenish you. And it has a lot of structure. It's the one that Jesus works with religion, world religion. And so often it's very, very excessive. It's fanaticism that borders on fanaticism. Relative. You see that throughout the earth. That does not please this young Master Jesus. And his assignment is to combine a number of religions and begin again. Seventh, you often associate with your name, do you not? The healing, the bridge. It's a lovely day. We're not going to go through all of them. 8 is a bridge into the 9th becomes extremely important because it is blue-green and it overshadows your etheric body. Look to the 9th and breathe this one in, for this is what you are achieving now. The 9th ray, the blue-green ray, is the overshadowing for the DNA. It overshadows what we call our higher self. And this wondrous ray, breathe it in as a group, please. I realize that this is the connection with one's higher self. And the coexistence now with your primal soul become one, they merge. They become as one, gentle one. Breathe it in. It's such a significant point in your convergence, in your reawakening with the totality of self. Blue-green is lovely. This is the ninth ray, and your DNA that you're acquiring is coded for this level of consciousness. This is your higher self, little one. And allow it to envelop, for there is no resistance now as it's introduced to your primal soul. None whatsoever. So you merge primal soul and higher self, primal soul and higher self. Allow this great energy to encompass the group as one. And know without any doubt what has happened, please. That's what the Bible calls the spirit, the primal soul, has naturally been encompassed by the greater soul, the higher self. And the energy that overlightens, overshadows all of this is this ninth ray, the ninth ray. Breathe it in and become. Wonderful. There is no hysteria, there's no sense of separation. They run to one another, for this is a natural union. Take the combined, your higher self now, having integrated the primal soul. It's almost done at this level now. Just needs to be integrated. As the higher self, please meet the 10th member. The 10th member you will recognize, for the personality aspect of this energy is called Brian. And this is the 10th ray. And there's a magnificent explosion of unity, for the 10th ray overshadows with the pearl-colored luminosity the oversoul. And watch as there is unison now, as they become one. As they become one, breathe this in, please, the oneness of primal soul, higher self, and oversoul, and the overshadowing, the overlighting that takes effect, as they become one, please, breathe it in. For this is a wondrous thing and very, very important for all of creation at this time. micro colors. Much more brilliant than you're seeing it. It dances, it dances. There's a sense of accomplishment, profound accomplishment now at all levels of self. Profound accomplishment for the unification of distant things that have always been united. But disconnected. Connect now totally. Soul, higher self, oversoul, and the predominant colors are then the pro colors. Very incandescent, gentle ones who penetrate the group, penetrate the group. Penetrate the individual. Penetrate the individual. Breathe it right in to this collective cosmic heart, because you are now within this cosmic heart. This is the transformation. And you notice that you are no different than anyone else, and no one is greater than another. Breathe that one in. Divine equality. And I are one, and I see no separation. I see the microcosm of the microcosm. I see that it was all relative all along. The separation for the most part were illusion. The sense of disconnection. And I bond very firmly now with this oversoul. And the 11th number is very transformational for the ultimate goal, the ultimate achievement in what is called the New Age. Radiate with this gold as the 12th number encompasses and embodies all 12 rays, and gold is that representation. And this being is beyond description, as all of them are. And in all of these beings you see yourself, and you have a relatedness, you have an identity with all. The love, the oneness. And again we're reminded that this is where we were birthed, this is where we were individualized as part of a monad, 1 through 12. Part of the ray, 1 through 12. And it's taken billions of years for us to re-identify with our beginnings, with our origins, with our rebirthing in the ultimate sense. There's simply no way Brian can describe to you the wonders. Some of you have a sense. And at this balcony, you can look eternally, and it's forever before you see physical planets. And you're told those are the universes. And in this one day, there were 40 things, and all just like watching a city from a great, great distance. Seems so distant. And we discern with our discernment the difference between the spiritual and the physical. They're all magnificent. But we're more familiar in our experience with density 3 through 6. Let us collectively invite these 6 directors, please, and their associate directors to come back down to a physical place with us. Invite them, each and every one of you, please. If you can identify with one specifically, please ask that one. Look very close. Open your heart. Very good. Some of you can look at 2 or 3. And invite all of them, please. They're so glorious. Please invite them to come to this magnificent channel that we have created. When we get on the same escalator that we came up, that you built, we do not stop at the 8th dimension. We go through to the 7th, but the hunters call it the 3rd level of the 7th dimension, 3rd grand division. We get a sense there from the Oversoul and from the angelic host that this is their origin. This is what they call home. Archangels, some of this is the angelic kingdom place. And the Oversoul. And it's very wondrous. Get a sense of light and joy. Invite all now, please. The massive circle of colors, sound, and elevator. As we come down to the beginning of what we refer to as physicality, or the 6th dimension. We know this area. It's very open to us, for we have built a magnificent channel. Our beloved Melchizedek, the angelic host, all that co-create with us, and there are multitudes, all aspects of self. View the beauty of our creation, for your God source, except for the 12 rays, had nothing to do with it. We have made many mistakes, but in wonderment we can look at our achievements also. And we know we have a few sores or tears in the tapestry. And as a group we know that we can heal the tears in that tapestry. We feel fanned with great energy when we travel with the 12. The souls are union, they are with one. But they are of a spiritual nature. We know that they are not soul, primal soul. We know that they're not higher soul. We know that there's a oneness and a serenity that is spiritual. Breathe it all in down. Breathe. Come down to the fifth dimension. The fifth. To the borderline between the fourth and the fifth. And we invite the Christ itself when we realize that we have and will become Christed, for this is our origin, this is our purpose. And we cannot any longer externalize the Christ. He was never the intention. The Christ itself is within one. And we reunite with that Christ itself now. It is not a place in the ether, nor is it any one person. But it is not to be deified, it is to become. Breathe that in. And we recognize that the Christ itself is within. It is adored within our totality. It is part of our consciousness. It is not separate of our own identity. Feel the Christ itself now as we go into the timeless room. I know that there's a total overshadowing now with what we view as the Oversoul. This includes the Christ itself, the Christ child, the wondrous one, the innocent traveler, the beauteous one. Child of trust and unconditional love. Breathe that so totally into your cosmic heart now, please, that it becomes one. And with great, great comfort, we endorse this journey. We endorse the Christ itself. We endorse the totality of who and what we are. Simply as I am. For on this journey we saw, graphically or felt, or vibrated with, or intuitively felt, connection with a greater wholeness than we have yet perceived. As every cell in the body begins to trigger into light from this cosmic realm, remember we've totally moved our consciousness, cosmic to cosmic, cosmic heart to cosmic heart. Breathe in the greatness of who and what you are. The journey, a sense of completion, a sense of jubilance, a sense of I am. And I totally see now that there is no separation in consciousness, that we have created those gaps. And that was not all our doing. The fact is now that we can recreate, and we can become the creators of our own reality. We don't blame anyone anymore. There are no victims. I repeat, there are no victims. We know we can talk to soul, the higher self, to overself, for now, as they reunite, they become one. And the silence room is ablaze with transformation. Ablaze with transformational fire. With ablaze with oneness, with purpose. And a sense that we've aligned with a greater wholeness than we ever have consciously. Align with that mentor, with that being. That monadic vehicle that is you, 1 through 12, or any number through 12. And if in doubt, encompass number 12, for it involves all of them anyway. Permeate within your own creative ability and reunite with the collective self. And know that you are much greater than you have yet thought, that you have yet known. We now know what the I am presence is, in the ultimate sense. God and I are one. God and I are one. Time does not allow us to go. Come back into your body very, very gently, please. breathe out everyone that's magnificent of you, for you, with you. Sense that serenity within that cosmic room throughout your life. And carry it on when you do leave. Gentlemen, if any of you are driving, please don't drive for some time. Go for a walk or do something. And I'm sorry it has to be abrupt, but apparently. Please work with one another whenever your consciousness. You can see why we travel as a group. Nobody can stay behind. Again tonight, before you go to sleep, Metatron and Sandalphon would be a wonderful stabilizer for you. This is immense transformation. Treat it accordingly, please. This is the toughest time for me. It's always the same. The Council 12. Supreme gratitude. Well, somehow we've got to get ourselves out of here. They may have a celebration coming. Let me turn the generator off. Well, thank you.